Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. And just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. It's a new year.
Yay.
It's a new campaign. Obviously, party stars.
Yeah.
I fight for the fact that we need to do a party stars on the start of a new year.
Oh, it's a great time to start a new campaign. It would actually be an interesting concept if you planned a campaign that only lasted a year, and each year you start up a new one.
Well, that's like smaller campaigns.
Yeah.
I thought for a second you were talking about like, oh, what happens if it lasts a year in real time and in the game?
Oh, interesting.
And that just reminded me, I believe that was the original intent of D&D by Gary Gygax, was out of session time is still time that's going on in the game.
It's just downtime.
I believe he screwed over players a lot about just like expenditures, and they have to pay for lodging for the week that they're going to be gone.
Oh, yeah, that's all in the book. I usually just ignore it.
I know most like today's players ignore that, but
Yeah.
that was the original intent from him.
Honestly, it'd
If
be
you were
interesting.
going to be gone in between sessions, you need enough money for a week's lodging
Yeah.
for while you were gone and not playing at the table. And I think that's ridiculous.
Well, okay, if you look at the actual expenditures, like how much it costs to stay in a semi-decent hotel versus how much gold and loot you're finding, it's actually doable.
Yes, but it's just a weird thought of what happens if you have cliffhangers. It's very much like story-centric stuff. Like,
Mhm.
what happens if you're in the middle of a dungeon?
Well,
And
then you're
then,
not staying
like-
at a hotel.
And then cut. So then if time is still going, so they just went halfway into the dungeon, stopped, and now they're camped there for a week.
Yeah,
And then it's just a weird thought.
it is an interesting thought. You just got to make sure you have enough food on you.
It's like the same thought of, have you ever thought about how fast travel works in video games? What it would look like in the perspective of in the game, where all of a sudden you're moving and then you go very rigid and then walk in straight directions until you hit a certain point, and then all of a sudden you relax and then act like a person moving around again.
Oh, that's weird.
It was always funny because I believe it was like one of the Fallout games. You would fast travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's been times where I would fast travel to a location and I'll be in the middle of a fight where people are shooting each other and all that stuff. So I always thought it was so hilarious, the thought of someone just casually walking with like a set purpose until it hits a certain spot while everyone's firing around them, and then all of a sudden they blink and look around and then freak out
Start
because they're in the middle of
panicking.
a fight. How confused would you be?
I like when games explain fast traveling as in like, oh yeah, you're just teleporting. You touch this random rock and okay, you're going to teleport over here, and they actually show the animation of it. Because then you aren't like, oh wow, I really walked far to get here.
Well, that's for some of those games where it's just, oh, it's a previous location you've been to.
Yeah.
It implies you just went there and you just skipped that process.
Mm-hmm.
But in-game, how would that feel like?
I know. Games would be really boring if you had to walk everywhere.
I feel like it would be the same thing as people who drive would know this. If you drive the same route every day for work,
Oh, yes.
you go on autopilot,
Uh-huh.
and then you realize like several blocks down that weren't consciously paying attention to driving, and you were really worried like, what happens if something bad happened back there?
Well, then you would have been
It
given
would have
reins
shocked you
Yeah.
back in it. But I freak out. It was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but I always do it.
There have been a couple of times where I was driving a route I've driven so many times, and normally I just go into autopilot for that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But something brought me out of it. Like some car did something that made me have to actually be there and conscious. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, did I miss my turn? I don't know this place, because I'm usually autopiloting through it.
I'm not that bad.
Oh, I'm that bad because of my bad memory
It's only
issues.
when I know the route well enough that I can autopilot it.
Yeah.
If I'm ever going through a route, an area I don't recognize, I cannot go into autopilot.
Well, like I said, I've driven this route many, many, many times. It's just I usually autopilot through that one section of it because it's a highway and I'm just going straight. But yeah, Nah, there was a couple of times I would come out of the autopilot and just be like, where am I? Am I lost? Did I miss my turn? I didn't.
Non-drivers will think you're crazy.
Yes.
Because I remember speaking about this to an old coworker of like 3 jobs ago who does not drive. And I was just like, oh yeah, you kind of go into autopilot and all that stuff. And he's like, oh, I don't want to ever be on the road when you're on the road. And I'm like, dude, everyone does it.
Autopilot's not as bad as you think it is.
Driving is like riding a bike pretty much. It's all muscle memory. You don't consciously think about when you ride a bike.
Not really, no. Unless it's been a long time.
It's instinctual.
Yes.
But there's the phrase, it's like riding a bike. You pick things up immediately because your body's like, oh, right, this.
Once you figure out riding a bike, you can still get back on a bike and ride again.
Yeah.
It's not like you've instantly forgotten the moment you get off.
It's a very weird phenomenon, isn't it? It's like you could spend 30 years not riding a single bike, and then you get back on, you're like a newborn deer for like 5 seconds.
And then it all comes back to you.
Yeah.
If someone has amnesia, they've forgotten everything, they don't know that they know how to ride a bike. If they got on a bike, would the muscle memory take over, or would they have to learn again?
Yes, because Jason Bourne. I'm just kidding. Have you seen those movies?
Yes, but it was so long ago, it might have not been, because it's me and
it's
I
that
forgot.
one scene where it's just like, I know that there are 13 people in here. 2 of them are this. I know that the fire exit is over here, and the other possible outcome is this. Why do I know this? That kind of like scene.
Okay.
Also, there's been plenty of cases where people who have amnesia would feel emotional to something, even though they don't remember it, and then they get confused why they are feeling this way.
I haven't looked too much into amnesia.
It's I haven't either, but
an interesting topic, though.
I believe your subconscious really helps out on that thing.
Mm-hmm. So if you know anyone that has amnesia, let us know if they remember how to ride a bike. We're actually curious. Well, I am.
At least you are. I don't know. Just type out your entire life story on the YouTube comments if you have amnesia. Yeah, if you don't, then I don't want to hear from you.
And if you don't want to do that, then you can always, direct message us if you want us to know.
That or talk to your therapist.
Yeah.
We all need one. Anyways.
We are not professional therapists either.
God, we're not professional at anything. You think we're even close to being professional therapists? We're idiots.
Yes. No, I wholeheartedly agree with the idiots statement.
Anyways, let us 2 idiots make a start of a new campaign then.
Yeah.
You got dice?
Oh, right. They're over here. I got them. 49.
A large gathering has brought the party to one town. A festival, a circus, etc. At night, a band of thieves rummaging and stealing all the expensive, more than common gear. Oh, wait, we don't read parentheses. What am I doing? A band of thieves rummaging and stealing all expensive items in the village. All venturers are hired to find out who did it and get back all the stolen goods.
Okay, so they're hanging out in town for some sort of festival.
Whatever event.
Yeah, and they've all come individually at this point. And at night, anything interesting gets stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, those parentheses can still count the more than common gear. So if anyone has anything neat, it gets taken. Anything like a jeweled dagger, that would definitely get grabbed. And typically, if starter characters have something like that, it means something to them. So yeah, probably the mayor would then be like, any adventurers in town, come together and help us find these thieves.
We're paying, obviously.
Obviously. Because, they probably stole stuff from townspeople too.
Well, everyone. But it has to be thieves. We can't deviate from that.
Well, I mean, they're thieves. They took things. Doesn't have to necessarily be your typical thieves.
I don't know. This is very generic.
You want to know what my nerdy brain did?
Oh, God.
It's clearly a niffler.
Well, to be fair, that's why I'm like, it has to be thieves. Because we can't have like a creature that likes shiny things. I immediately thought of that.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what a niffler is, it's from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in the Harry Potter universe. It's a creature who likes shiny things. And has almost like a dimensional pocket for a pouch where you can just shove everything. So
yeah, they're OP.
Not a niffler?
I don't want to go that route.
Okay.
Because 1, I think it's overused.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And 2, let's be a little bit more creative.
Than someone else's
Cut
idea.
to me being frustrated because we can't think of anything. It's like, fine, we'll do this.
All right. So what if it's like a thieves, like a band of thieves that's just sweeping through town and they're going to head towards the next town over or like the big city nearby to sell everything?
Okay, if we could think of a motivation for the thieves,
Shiny sells well.
because I was thinking like we could do a Robin Hood approach.
Oh, someone going through town liberating all of the things that people don't necessarily need because it's just they don't require this.
Yes, for orphans or something like that. I don't know. But I'm saying like we could somehow twist this as the thieves being good people. I don't know, but
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how you manage that.
well, again, like if we go a Robin Hood approach, you could then spin it that they're good people.
I guess.
But Robin Hood is also a very well used cliche.
It is true. A lot of people know about him.
We have to think of something good. This sets the tone for 2025.
I know. It's like first episode of the year. Tanks. So it clearly says thieves. So it's not just one thief.
But yeah,
Like literally a band of thieves. So we have a whole group of people.
well, if they steal from everyone in a town
Mm-hmm.
in a night, that has to be more than one person.
True. What if, here's the fun thought, it is the orphans? It's a whole group of children that have been like just living out in the woods like Lost Boys style, going Peter Pan now. And they've just went through the town getting all the shinies because they're cool. And they're going to go, I don't know, decorate their treehouse or something.
While you're talking, I had the dumbest thought.
You can have as many stupid thoughts as you want as long as I get to hear them.
I was thinking, what happens if this is a tabaxi, a single thief, even though it says band of thieves?
Yeah.
What happens if this is a tabaxi that is capable of Misty Step a bunch, so that's how he robs or she robs so fast?
Okay.
And just wanted the money to give to a dragon because he always wanted to just seduce a dragon.
The tabaxi that wants to seduce a dragon.
I don't know why. I just like, oh, what happens if it's a simp for a dragon?
Well, I mean, contributing to the horde.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's like
I can see that being helpful.
I feel like if anyone wanted to seduce a dragon, then they would have to act like a simp because dragons just want money. I don't know why I thought of that.
No, let's roll with that. I like it.
I don't like it. It's stupid.
You don't like it? You don't want it to be a tabaxi that wants to help out a dragon?
How would this be for a level 1 party?
That's fair. Dragons are kind of a bit much.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't think about that. I'm sorry.
And if you try to stop a source of income for a dragon, they're not going to like it.
Well, what if the dragon doesn't really care for the tabaxi? What
Well,
if the dragon then turns around and hires the party to get rid of the tabaxi?
like a clingy stalker?
Yeah.
We have to keep it small. That's the problem.
Okay, so not the dragon. I still think that's a good idea. It really does fit with this.
Well, it says a band of thieves.
Do we have to follow it word for word? Okay, what's a
I'm
tabaxi and some of
trying
his
to.
friends? What if he's got a group of friends that don't realize why he's stealing everything? It's like he gives them a cut, but his cut goes to the dragon and he gets the biggest cut because he came up with the idea.
I mean,
Or they're all simps for the dragon and they're all trying to please her.
God.
Maybe they're a cult. Maybe they think she's some sort of demon lord.
Now you're just making me think of every cult is just simps for a demon.
Why not? It pretty much sounds
Yeah.
like it. You know I'm right.
Okay. What happens if this is like the event organizer? If it's like a festival or a traveling circus, they're the ones who steal it or something like that.
Okay. You're always ready to blame the carnies.
Yeah. I mean, heck, this circus could be, or traveling carnival could be the one that has the Kelpie.
Oh, yeah. Tie back to that episode.
What was that episode? Wellness check. That's the name of it.
Yep. Would this
And-
be before or after they lost their Kelpie?
I have no idea.
Well, obviously before, since it's the start of a campaign, if you want to introduce them.
Yeah, what happens if it's like that, where it's a perfect cover of moving town to town?
And maybe it's not necessarily the entire circus or carnival, whatever they are, that is to blame for this. Maybe it's just like a few of them that are using the carnival as cover.
Yeah.
So the ringmaster has no idea what's going on. He's just, bringing his
Yeah.
carnival around.
We did Carnival one recently. even though that was like a couple months ago or 3.
Which one was that again?
How far away was October?
A few months.
Yeah, it was the one where we did with Tyler.
Oh, yeah, that
The-
one was really creepy.
The puppets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What happens if we do like a county fair
Okay.
where those still travel, right?
No. They're put on by the county.
I thought they were sponsored by the county, and the people who work there go to multiple counties to hold multiple
Yeah.
fairs.
The people, like the rides and stuff that they hire, I
Yeah.
think they do travel around, yeah.
They're. I was thinking like them. I don't know.
Okay.
I just want to go somewhere else besides a circus.
So
but
they're still carnies.
yeah, they're basically carnies, just a
Yeah.
different paint.
Right. So, okay, it's a town festival, but they've hired entertainers to come in and provide attractions. And it's those entertainers, some of them, not all of them, that have formed a group and steal everything.
Oh, okay.
All right. What's the festival for?
I have no idea.
A lot of reasons for towns to have festivals, like a harvest party or some sort of solstice event, maybe, or a founder's party, like the day the town was founded or something, or some like big event that happened in the past of the town, like maybe today is the day that so and so stood fast at the wall and saved our town from a bunch of invaders and stuff.
What happens if it's an event that has like this prized item and the main focus is the stealing of said prized item?
Ooh.
That could then make the entire tone of the campaign,
Like a sword in the stone kind of idea, and the sword goes missing.
sort of, or like a big jewel or something,
Okay.
and that would be like the entire campaign is just hunting that down, and that could lead to something else. Blah 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 blah.
The entire campaign or just the first quest?
Well, I'm saying like if the DM wants to make this the basis of the entire campaign.
That's true. That's true. Okay. So,
I don't know. What do we want to do?
trying to figure out why a small town. It just says to one town. So, why would a town have some big fancy jewel?
Well, it could be like it doesn't have to be a jewel. It could be like you know how like there are things like jewels or things that are hidden underneath rocks. So as you have like a geode kind of thing where it looks just a regular rock.
Mhm.
What happens if it's like that and they don't realize a gem that basically is capable of dark magic or something like that is resting inside of it, and then these people steal that?
So, it's just like their town rock or something that everyone thinks is super neat and really cool. And
I have no idea. I don't know how you make a rock interesting or something like that.
fun
Oh,
to think
God,
up
actually-
a story for a rock.
No, you know what'd be funny?
I thought of
Have-
something, but go ahead.
Sorry, it just made me think of a historical event called the War of the Bucket.
I've actually heard of this one.
What happens if we just make it a bucket?
It's just a bucket.
Just the bucket for the one well in the town.
Oh, but I thought of an idea for the rock.
Okay, it was probably better.
There was a monster that was going to attack the town, and their town hero threw a rock at its head and killed it, and that is the rock.
Okay, how about make it a barbarian that just bashed his head in with
That
the
works
rock?
too. So it's the Bashan Rock.
The passion rock.
And the town's called Bashan, named after the rock.
Okay, now we have a name for the
Yeah,
town.
the town of Bashan.
Town of Bashan.
Yeah. People often think it's Bastion, but no, it's just Bashan.
They say it with like a thick enough accent that people don't realize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
And that festival is the day that the famed hero killed X thing.
yeah. Insert monster here.
Or insert vile baron here.
Oh, yeah. You can bash him on the head, get rid of him, so now the town
David
can
versus
flourish.
Goliath moment.
Yeah. All right, so we need a name for our barbarian.
Well, that's a historical thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to be talked about. Dalton Shepherd.
Dalton the Barbarian.
Yep. I like it. So it was enough years ago that Dalton is no longer with us. He's actually probably just a statue in the middle of town holding up said rock. So,
Okay.
like, the actual rock is literally just held aloft by the statue. It's not part of the statue. It's just literally held there. So anyone could technically lift it if they could lift it.
Or actually, what happens if it's separate because they keep it prized, and one of the games is like not on any like hard streets, but taking the actual rock and throwing it as a competition.
Yeah, that could work too. Seeing if you can even lift the rock.
Yeah, it's like that. But the statue could just be just him posing or bashing someone in with the rock.
Okay.
But the actual rock is like stays at City Hall and all that stuff.
Yeah, on a podium or something.
Yeah.
It's like, can you lift Bastion's rock?
And
Sorry, not
that's
Bastion. Bastion rock.
And that's why
I did it.
that's why the thieves will wait until this festival, because that's the only time it could be out and could be stolen/lost.
Right.
And then they just took everyone else's things as a bonus
Bonus or cover.
or cover. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they left an illusion. That thing. Illusory? I don't know. They left a copy of the rock, be it a fake that just looks like it or an actual
it's got to be
illusion.
obvious, because if it's obvious that that's stolen, everything's stolen, then that's when it's like, oh, like probably the mayor or whatever, the town leader is calling for adventurers to get everyone's, but most importantly, our prized rock.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for our festivals.
Right.
We can't start the festival without it.
And no one realizes that the Bastion rock is a geode with very prized gems inside of it.
Yes.
But the thieves know what they're looking at, and they know how to spot a geode. They know what
one
this
of them is a geologist by hobby.
Yeah. And he's like, dude, that's a geode. There's gems inside of that rock.
Yeah, it's like one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in all the shenaniganry of like catching the thieves and stuff, the rock does get broken. Or as they're returning the rock, as they give it back or like set it on the podium, it finally cracks and just falls apart and shows off the gems inside.
I don't know. It is somewhat funny. Or would it break sooner and then gives the players a dilemma? But I don't want to give them the dilemma of have a ton of money or return rock back to townspeople they don't care about.
Right? Because they're going to keep the rock.
I just had that realization. I'm like, no, we should. I don't know if I want to break in front of the players.
So it breaks like upon returning it. The moment that gets put back on the podium or something, that was the final straw. The last setting it down, it just breaks in half.
What if the party catches the thieves trying to bust it open and they're having so much issues and all that stuff?
It's a very strong geode. It smashed
strong
a monster head in.
But then what happens if they return it back? They can even try themselves if they find out.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not, because then the party will just steal away with it and constantly do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, what happens if the only way to break it open is by stupid means?
What kind of stupid means we talking here?
I have no idea. But
what
happens if like the mayor knows about it?
Told everyone we're stupid. We think up stupid ideas. You can't come up with a stupid means.
I'm like, okay, what happens if it only like breaks when like it's wet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are some times where, random fun fact about geodes, occasionally they have water trapped inside of them. And when you break those open, they reek to high heavens.
I think I've seen a video, but I didn't know about the smell.
Yeah, I heard about
million-old water.
Yeah, it's just nasty water.
But what happens if like the only way to break it open is through hitting it with a bushel of wheat?
So like it's just magically
just
together.
Like coincidentally, like that's how it works, and it's like no logical explanation whatsoever.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just a dumb thought I had.
Or maybe a specific word said in its vicinity, and it'll just like pop open.
I don't know about making it magical, though.
Okay.
But what happens if the mayor knows?
The mayor knows
that it's a gem, but just out of virtue of tradition and all that stuff, and is indeed the rock that the barbarian used. What happens if it gets revealed? It's like the mayor's like, of course it's a gem. How would he kill this creature with just a rock? The rock would break. A gem's harder.
It depends on the gem, really.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
of course it's a geode.
What happens if the mayor's the one logical person? Is like, of course it's a gem. It's a giant gem. Or else it will break when the hero will attack the monster.
Yeah, there you go. Or maybe that's the monster's one weakness is that specific gem.
Oh no, opal.
Oh, my one weakness. Emeralds.
Side note, I always thought it would be
Quartz.
funny if when I die on my tombstone is just my one weakness and then put whatever I died from. But I feel like a lot of people are doing that or going to do that.
Really?
I don't know.
Never heard that before.
I've heard it plenty of times online.
Oh, that's the internet for you.
But then again, my loved ones will have to do it. I have no choice.
Well, you can always like put in your will, and this is what I want my tombstone to say.
Yeah, but they don't have to listen to it.
If it's legal, I think they have to.
No, it's always just through his wishes. That's why people
Okay.
fight over like inheritance.
Okay. I've
know.
never gotten an inheritance, so I don't really know.
Me
this.
neither, but I read about them all online.
Okay.
There are greedy people out there.
There are, unfortunately. Come on, people.
Is there anything else to add to this?
No, I think we pretty much got it. So the party rolls into town. There's a festival. Everyone's getting ready for it. It's like the day or so before the festival, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're just in time," or "Glad you made it." And they stay at the inn or something, and then, they're watching everything, everyone getting ready for the festival, and then the next day comes, and the rock is gone. Stuff is gone. We can't have a festival without the rock, or it's the day after the festival. Either way.
I would argue before the festival, then the mayor could be like, we can't start the festival without the Bastion Rock.
Yeah, we gotta have the Bastion Rock. No, what's the mayor's name?
Oh, yeah, sure. Give him a name.
Felix Holman. Felix Holman.
Felix would say, we can't start the festival without the prized rock.
Yeah. We gotta have a rock. That's what the entire festival's about.
You, 4 adventurers.
It was like, or it could just be like, if there are any adventurers who have come to our town, please, I implore you, help
Would you
us.
please stand up?
It's like, there will be a reward.
Will the real adventurers please?
Because, like, that's what brings them together as a party, is they all get hired together.
Yes. And then they have to investigate this, ask
Right.
questions, realize that 4 or 5 of the festival workers came in, are now missing, yada, yada, yada. And then
Maybe they'll track them to a cave nearby or something, or whatever the DM wants to set up, like some sort of hideout, or, track them down, put them where you feel like the party should find them.
if you want to lead them somewhere for your planned next thing or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
When they find the thieves, they'll be trying to bash the Bastion Rock, trying to break it open.
Yeah, and then they can ambush them.
Bring the rock back to town, get lots of rewards. If they find out that it's a geode, and tell the mayor, who's like, of course I knew it was a geode. But like the moment they set it down back on the pedestal, it just breaks open and shows off the gems inside. If they don't know it's a geode already. Like that's the final, like, oh, it was a geode.
What happens
guys.
if they do that in private and it breaks, and then the mayor looks at him like, I got this other one that like we could just say it's the original.
No one will remember that. Yeah.
And they're like,
That's okay,
But
we have a spare.
did you just say that you needed this to start? It's like, yeah, that is the original though.
Mhm.
That's funny.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Okay. Well, if you I was going to say put this in your campaign. If you start this campaign with this little small quest, let us know down in the comments of this YouTube video, or on Blue Sky at Questboard, or on Twitter at QuestboardPod. If you have a job posting of your own that you want us to make our normal stuff, or a scenario for a party starter, sure, we'll take those. Anything to base off of any of our episodes that we come out with, we'll
Yeah.
take anything. Let us know on any of those social medias. And I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.